I've just been out here this morning picking some mulberries. It's kind of sad because our tree this year actually flowered very early, and then we got this late freeze and a lot of the flowers died, and we have only gotten about half, not even, like a quarter of the mulberries that we got last year, but the bees like them. Oh my goodness. So look at how big this tree has gotten. It's just massive. If you guys didn't know this, I've shared it on a lot of other videos, but this tree is solely watered by our washing machine. So it's really cool that you can reuse water to grow beautiful fruit trees and not have it go to waste. But this morning I actually have to go to the grocery store because I'm out of vegetables. So I was just gonna do like a little vegetable haul for you guys, show you, what I buy that usually will make it so that I can get through like 3 or 4 days. I do buy a lot of vegetables. I have 7 zucchini plants right now that have baby zucchinis on them. I'll just show you guys a little clip. So I did get a big zucchini off of one of them the other day, and I have some cucumbers growing as well, so that's exciting. So once those start producing a lot, hopefully I won't have to buy so much zucchini, because I eat a lot of zucchini, which is why I planted so many plants. But I'll show you guys those plants, and then I'm gonna run to the grocery store, and then we're gonna do a little bit of meal prep. So in this little area is just where our trees are in our sunken bed. We have 4 zucchini plants in here, and I have to cover them with the shade cloth because it gets really hot here. It's like getting to about 105 degrees. But I like to take it off because I feel like the bees can't really get to the flowers. And then under here I also have 2 cucumber plants growing. So we got a few cucumbers growing. Here's a big one. And these are just the English cucumbers. These little guys are all green beans that I planted like a week ago, and they're already getting so big. And then in this raised bed, I have 2 more zucchini plants and 2 kabocha squash plants and also a bunch of cucumber plants. But these guys actually have a lot of zucchini growing on them. So there's probably like between each plant, maybe 6 or 7 zucchinis growing. I can't get super close because I'm trying not to get stung by a bee. But yeah, there's a bunch of little tiny zucchinis. There's like 3, and then there's a bunch of baby ones back there. And then these are kabocha squash. And then another thing that I planted was all of this corn. So I think we have like 15 corn plants, and they're growing really well, even in this kind of desert heat out here. Alright guys, so I'm back from the store. Our grocery store finally started to let us use reusable bags. For the entire time of the coronavirus, they required that like everything had to be in plastic bags, so you couldn't even use these little reusable mesh produce bags that I have. But I'll show you guys what I got. So I got 2 bunches of kale because I'm going to make some kale chips today, and I'll show you guys how to do that. It's a really good way to get in extra veggies. Because you can just season the kale and then like they just taste like chips. If you guys like kale chips, it's just a really good way. So then I got some carrots. I got some lemons for my tea and for dressings. I think I got 5 zucchini. So this is why I have so many zucchini plants, because I love steamed zucchini, but I also like to put like a zucchini into a dressing. Say I make like today we're gonna make some hemp ranch to put on the kale chips. So I put a zucchini in here, and then I just use a few tablespoons of hemp seeds, and it makes the dressing go a lot farther, and obviously you don't have to add as much fat. Also got some blackberries just to top my oatmeal with, or some of my, if I make like a smoothie bowl or an ice cream or something like that. And I got 3 big bunches of organic broccoli. So I usually eat about an entire head of broccoli a day. And then I got a green bell pepper and a red bell pepper because I want to make some fajita veggies. I also got some of these organic white corn tortillas because I want to make basically, yeah, like fajita tacos. So I'll show you guys how I do that because I'm going to make those for dinner. And then I got cucumber for sushi and for salads. And I was going to buy some bananas, but they didn't have any, so I just put that on my list for next time. But yeah, this is about the amount of produce that I will eat in 3 days. So yeah, it's a lot, but it's just what keeps me full and satisfied, and I like to eat a lot of volume, and I really like to eat a lot of vegetables. So today I thought that it would be fun to kind of show you guys how I prep food for myself for the week. I usually do meal prep for about 3 days, and then I will get sick of those foods and want to eat something different, so then I'll food prep other things. But I usually just cook like a lunch type of meal and then a dinner type of meal, and I'll have some like snacks that I've prepped. So I'll either prep like my mint truffle balls as like desserts, or today we're gonna be making kale chips, which a lot of you guys were asking me, you know, for snack ideas. I really don't snack a lot. Like if I have a snack, it will either be these kale chips that I'm gonna be showing you, or it will just be fruit. So that is the snacks that I have. I usually just try to eat enough volume at my meals so that I don't have to snack. So today I'm gonna be prepping one of my favorite recipes, a potato soup. And then for the dinner meal, I'm going to be doing just like some fajita veggies, because usually I'll just put that with rice and then some like black beans or something like that, and put them in tortillas and eat them. Derek will eat the same food as me, but like if he has the fajita veggies and stuff, he might add like some Beyond Meat or something like that to it. So we do eat the same foods, he'll just add like different things to his. I also always have steamed potatoes and sweet potatoes in my fridge to just grab in case like I don't want to have something that I prepped. If I want to just have, you know, like some roasted potatoes with some veggies, or sweet potatoes, I like to eat them just with maple syrup. I always have these in my fridge, so I've just put them, the normal potatoes I put in the Instant Pot for 10 minutes with a steamer tray on the bottom and like an inch of water, and then I just cook them for those 10 minutes, and then I take them out. And you want to keep them uncovered, because if you cover them, they will get like super slimy and gross. And then the sweet potatoes I just put in my air fryer for 30 minutes on 360 degrees, and then I let them sit in there after they have cooked for probably like half an hour or whatever. Remember to take them out, and then I just put them in the fridge. And whenever, you know, I feel like having some sweet potatoes, pretty much the only way that I actually eat sweet potatoes is dipped in a little bit of maple syrup. I don't know why, but to me it tastes like pancakes. So yeah. So yeah, that is what we're gonna be doing today. I will leave all the recipes and everything down below for you guys. And yeah, let's get cooking. So you're going to need a dehydrator tray for this. You can use an oven, but it works a lot better if you have a dehydrator. And then we're just gonna cover the tray with parchment paper. And then we're gonna prep the kale. So you just wanna use a big bowl, because you're gonna be like putting the dressing on and massaging it in. And then we're just gonna take our kale and remove the stems. So you basically just wanna take it and pull down the sides until you get the stem out. And you can always save the stems and juice them. I haven't been juicing a lot lately, so I just compost them, but they're not really good for much other than juicing, because if you put them into a smoothie, I feel like they add way too much fiber. But if you guys have a problem getting a lot of vegetables in, this is a really good snack that I like to have. And usually I'll eat this alongside a smoothie, because I feel like I have smoothies a lot because it's so hot here, but I feel like they're not extremely filling. But if you eat like even half a batch of this, it will make you very full. And then once all the kale is in this bowl, I'm just gonna take my kitchen shears and just lightly chop it up so I don't have any like really huge pieces. So for the dressing, we're going to need 1 zucchini, and you can peel it if you want. I usually don't. We're gonna need some dill, salt, half a lemon, onion powder, garlic powder, and hemp seeds. What I usually do when I make this is I make a double batch of the dressing, and then I keep it in a little jar like this, because it's just like a low-fat ranch dressing that you can put on your salads. I like to put it on my burrito bowls, or like even on tacos or something like that. I will leave the exact ingredients and everything down in the description box for you guys for this dressing. So I'm not gonna actually measure this because I never do. Super simple. We're just gonna add our zucchini into here, and then I usually use about 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, which just gives it like a creamier consistency, but it also helps the dressing stick to the kale. We're gonna add in our seasonings. So we have garlic powder, onion powder. You want about a teaspoon of each of those, and then I usually use a tablespoon of dill. Going to add in about half a teaspoon of salt and just the juice of half a lemon. Also, we didn't add any water to it right now, but once we start blending it, we're gonna add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of water just to get it to blend. You don't wanna add too much water to it or else it's not going to stick to the kale. So just try to add as little water as you need to. I usually add about 2 tablespoons. So this is about the consistency that we want. If you had to add a lot of water to it to get it to blend, what you can do after is just add in some nutritional yeast to just thicken it up a bit. All right, so we're just gonna pour this onto the kale and then massage it in. All right, and then all we're going to do is just put this onto our parchment paper. So yeah, you just want to spread this out as much as you can without having it go off the parchment paper. It's fine if it's like on top of each other, then you're just gonna get like those big hunks of kale chips that are like the best part of the bag whenever you buy them. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm gonna just put this in our dehydrator, and there's so much kale, it's like not fitting. Oh no! Don't let it fall out. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so hard to do with one hand. All right, I think that'll work. And then I'm just gonna put this on 118 degrees for 24 hours. I feel like that makes a really good crispy kale chip. And for anybody asking, I just have this Kasori brand dehydrator. I really like it. It works really well. I bought it because it looked really nice and I was gonna put it in our other house, but it works really well. I really love it. All right, so here are the kale chips the next day. You can see they're nice and crunchy. And yeah, they just make really good snacks. Alright, so this potato soup is something I make every single week. It's like my go-to meal. It's super filling, delicious, everything great. So basically to make this, we're just going to take some onion and garlic, and I put a little bit of soy sauce in a pan and I use that to saute it. And then we're just going to add in some celery and carrots and let that cook down for a little bit until it's just nice and fragrant. Then I have 3 to 4 russet potatoes that I just chopped into little cubes. We're going to add that in. Then we're going to add in some water. I usually just use 2 cups, which makes it turn out more like a stew than a soup, but you can add more water if you want it more soupy. I just kind of like it thick like that because I feel like it's more filling. And then all we're going to do is just put this in our Instant Pot for 5 minutes on manual pressure. If you're doing this on the stovetop, just bring it up to a boil, cover it, reduce the heat, and cook it until the potatoes are soft. So the secret ingredient here is you want to add in a bunch of fresh herbs. So I just pick whatever in my garden. I had dill, basil, oregano, I think some thyme in there, and then I just add a little bit of nutritional yeast and black pepper, and this is so good. It's just like so filling, so flavorful, so delicious. There's tons of veggies in it. It's just the greatest meal ever. So with our fajita veggies, I'm gonna make some refried beans. So basically, I just put these in my Instant Pot this morning and I covered them with water and let them soak. It's now about like 3 o'clock. And what I do is I just put a can of these Hatch green chilies, and then you want to make sure, no matter how many beans you have after they soaked, you just want to make sure, my cat's meowing, that there's about ½ inch of water on top. And then I actually like to cook these for an hour because I like them to get really soft, like so soft that you barely need to blend them. So I'm going to put these on for an hour and I'll show you guys what they look like when they're done. Alright, so the beans are done and they look super good. I actually forgot to put my chilies in, so I'm just going to do that now. And then sometimes I will just add like maybe ½ teaspoon of salt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my immersion blender and just blend this up until it's nice and smooth. I like to keep a little bit of chunks in there, but till it's pretty smooth. And then this is what it will look like. It looks a little bit soupy right now, but that's just because it literally just got done cooking and it's like boiling hot. But once it cools down a bit, it will be like a really nice thick refried beans that you can put on tacos or burritos or burrito bowls. So this will get a lot thicker. See, so this is cooled now and it's so much thicker. Alright, so for the fajita veggies, I have about 1/3 of a medium onion that I'm going to chop up, some bell pepper, green bell pepper, baby bella mushrooms, and then I have king oyster mushrooms, which if you guys have never had these, they have a very much like meaty texture. They use them a lot in Thailand, and when I had them in Thailand, I was like, wait, is this meat? Because it tastes like, it kind of tastes like chicken, like the texture of it. So you could leave those out, or you could, if you can find them, try them. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna chop these up into kind of like fajita strips. Now that I have all these veggies chopped up, what I'm going to do is just put this into a big pan and add a little bit of coconut aminos to just help it saute. And then I'm just gonna add in about 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon chili powder, a teaspoon coriander, and then a teaspoon of cumin. So whenever I saute veggies without oil, I just put everything in the pan and then I put a lid on it for like the first few minutes, I would say about 5 minutes, just to get all the water to release from the vegetables, and then at the very end I take off the lid and I let all the water just burn off so that it's more like a sauteed veggie instead of just like putting a bunch of water in there and basically steaming it. So as you can see, the veggies are cooking just fine from the water that's in them. So you don't have to add a ton of water to foods to cook them oil free. Just use that little trick by putting the lid on and then taking it off. So now I'm just gonna keep the lid off and I'm just gonna let the water basically cook out of all these veggies. So yeah, I feel like that's really the key to getting things to saute really well, because I see a lot of people adding a lot of water to saute veggies, and I never really add water. I just add a little bit of coconut aminos, put the lid on over medium heat, and then once you take the lid off, you can put it on high heat to just cook off the water, which usually takes about 5 to, I'd say, like 8 minutes. Alright, so here's another little hack that I came up with. Whenever I want a taco, I have everything prepped. So I basically just take a corn tortilla and then I'll just put it in my toaster. These tortillas are kind of big, so it won't fit in there, so I'll just leave it in there until it pops up, and then I'll flip it around, and then you get like nicely toasted tortillas just in your toaster. So yeah, then it's really nice because I have everything prepped. I can just take my beans that I cooked and put those on there. Add a little bit of rice and my veggies. And then if you make extra ranch, you can just put it on stuff like this. Let's put a little bit of the ranch on there. And then I just have some tomatoes and lettuce from my garden. I kind of put a lot in this one, but then, you know, whenever you get hungry, you can just make tacos really quick because you have your veggies, you have your beans prepped, and you just have to toast the tortilla. So I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. If you did, let me know in the comments box below. I just don't really like to do the week-long meal prep, probably because you know, if that works for you, do that, totally, but I'm a food blogger. I do have to cook a lot and I am at home all day, but I still do like to meal prep some things, you know, like in my Instant Pot, because if I don't have healthy food around, like I'm not gonna do very well. I'm not gonna choose to eat it. I'm probably gonna choose something, you know, quicker and easier. So that's just how I do it. I just like to do a few things that I can get through in 3 days because I don't like to eat the same things all the time. And you know, I can switch up these meals quite a bit. Like I could put the fajita veggies instead of in the tortillas. Like I could put them on top of a burrito bowl or like in a salad. I could just eat them with roasted potatoes. So that's why I just kind of like to prep little things to add. But yeah, that is how I do it, because I do get bored very easily of food and I want to like move on and then cook something different. And sometimes I will get stuck in a place where I like eat the same exact thing for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and years and years and years, like sushi. Like I will eat sushi all the time. But even with these meals prepped, like if I felt like having sushi, I would just have sushi. So yeah, that's how I do it. Just find a way that works well for you. I never really prep vegetables very much because it only takes me like a couple minutes to steam them. But if you're going to work and you need to bring a bunch of food with you, I would definitely just steam all my vegetables at home, and then I would probably just eat them cold, but you could probably just reheat them in a microwave. Like I said before, I will have all the recipes and everything down in the description box for you guys. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video.